Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Winning Wednesday. I really hope you're well. I hope you're having a great week so far. And if you're joining me on this live, then I hope you've woken up great. And if you're doing this on catch up, then let me know your feedback as well on this one. So this morning's session is better backs. And I want to give you really my very, very best exercises and release work for the back to help you, or if you're an instructor, to help your participants be able to feel better through your back. This is really for non-specific back pain. So anyone with anything clinically diagnosed, then you will have to maybe modify some of the stuff because maybe you've been told certain things you shouldn't do, and that's absolutely fine. But anyone with non-specific back pain, so for instance, if you've been to the doctor and they haven't actually diagnosed anything, or you've been to a physio and they haven't diagnosed anything, or maybe they've just said that your core muscles are weak, and that's putting an excess strain onto your back. So what I'm going to do this morning, gang, is I'm going to do quite a lot of mobility for your back to get it really free, make sure it feels really great. Then I'm going to do my very best strength exercises, and then I'm going to do some release work at the end. So it's going to be like a little bit of a better back sandwich this morning, all right? Good morning, Belinda. I hope you're well. I want you to really listen to your body this morning, or whatever time you're doing this, and be aware of how it feels. Now, obviously, we are 8 a.m. in the morning when we're doing this live, and for a lot of people, first thing in the morning is when their backs are at their worst. They're much better when they're moving around, and they actually find that, that movement has made them feel better. So I do understand that if you are a sufferer in the mornings, this might feel a bit tight to start with. Hopefully by the end of the class, it's going to feel a lot better. Good morning, Ronnie. I hope you're well as well. Good stuff. So hopefully the audio is all okay, gang. Please let me know if it's any different. I've got my lemon water this morning. And I'm doing this barefoot, but again, if you want to wear trainers, if you feel more secure in your trainers, that's totally fine. I'm going to do some release work standing, and then I'm also going to then bring it right down to the floor. If you want to use a pillow or a cushion behind your head at any time for anything where we're laying on our back, please feel free. It's entirely up to you. Okay? Yeah, it's really common, Ronnie, first thing in the morning, because you've been asleep and you've been laying in a certain position, that a lot of people do struggle with their backs. And it's the same as if you were sitting for a long period of time, like for instance on a plane or on a train, and you were going on a long journey, and then you get up, and it's that kind of, again, that first movement, you can feel a bit stiff. And we're going to be focusing on the whole back, so not just one area. I'm going to be focusing on the upper back, mid back, and the lower back as well, okay? So gang, all I want us to do first of all is we're going to start with the upper back, and we're going to bring ourselves all the way down to the lower back for our mobility. So let's start at the very top of the spine, which is your neck. So standing freely, don't feel like you have to stand a certain way. You absolutely don't. I want you to take a light connection on the abdominals, a light connection on the muscles in your bottom, in your glutes. And then with this, we're going to drop the head and then look up to the ceiling. I want you to allow your neck to release. People often ask, why do I start with the neck a lot? And it's really, if you're holding tension in your neck and shoulders, it will send repercussions going down the body. It can't really go up, although it does sometimes give people headaches. But it will often go down. And it will make your back feel tight in certain places. Now, when I take my head back, I'm opening my mouth. Let the jawline relax. Now, take the head over to the right and then roll the head down and round. over to the left. So big circles round and down here. We're moving our ear towards our shoulder, but not moving our shoulder towards our ear, if that makes sense. So you're coming over and stretching that neck there. Really give it a chance to loosen off. And then when you're ready, head down, roll your shoulders back. Now this is going to give you a little bit more of a pull in your upper back with your head down. When you're ready, take your head back to center and stay with your shoulder roll. Good morning, Jason Rose. Big circles round. So think about how they feel. How does that upper back feel as you move? Well done. And then from here, I'm going to bring those hands forward. Just touch the fingertips. Pelvic bones stay facing forwards. And let's rotate round. Good morning, Teresa. So little rotation, coming side to side. Squeezing here into more of your mid-back as you rotate round. And you may notice that you've got one side that you can move further on than the other. And I'm keeping the pelvis still at the moment. And that really is going to help just let that back move. Well done. So let's stay with that upper mid-back. Bring your arms forward into a swoop and back into a stretch. So let me just turn side on. Bend your knees as much as you need. I want you to feel that opening up of your back. You're really letting your head drop. Over-exaggerate this. Take your back free. Good work. One more. And now let's move our focus to the side to the back. Reach down on the right and reach down on the left. Now this one is often a move that actually indicates whether or not your area on your back, your QL, quadratus lumborum, whether that's tight. So for me personally, it is. It's tighter for sure on this side, and I can feel that as I go over. So just letting that release. Now, if you want to, you can make that bigger by extending the arm and really reaching over. And this is why I do these moves a lot, especially in fitness Pilates, because we want that back really nice and warm. Well done. Wrap the arms around the waist, bend the knees, loosen off. Don't rush that. Let that happen. Good work. When that feels good for you, bring your arms forward, rotate back on the right, and rotate back on the left. Now let your hips move on this one. So when we're doing the spine twist, we get the pelvis facing forwards. For this one, I want you to turn. Let it move. Good work. Do it one more each side. Fantastic. Go back to your wrap, but now take your legs wider. Throw that in and loosen off through your hips. Fabulous. Now from here, come to the back of your mat, and we're going to do a roll down, but we're going to start small. So I want the chin to come to the chest first. Here, come down that halfway spot, and then push forwards. Now as you come into that position, you might notice, do your hamstrings feel tight as you're there? And then roll up. So it might be that actually your hamstrings are the culprit. And a lot of people who've got tight hamstrings can feel tightnesses in their back. So I want you to come forward, chin on the chest, ripple, come to a flat back position. You're there, like a table. Hands on the thighs supported, and then roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Coming through. So we're just coming through to that shoulder release. Let's really warm up through the back here. As we come through, I want us to now lift and lower. Do you need to take your feet wider? Please do if you need. If your hips feel quite tight in this position, maybe you need to have those feet a little bit wider for you. lift and lower. Well done. Roll up. Roll through. Now, if you want to, you can start to lift the arms, but I want this to always still be about the back. So try not to just shoot from your hip forward there and come into hyperextension. Really think about vertebrae by vertebrae. Staying with your lift and lower, belly button up to the ceiling, belly button down to the floor. Good work. And then roll. Roll through. Inhale. Now let's start to activate the back a little bit more. As we come through to this table position, nice and strong, connect through the abdominals and you're going to extend the arm up. So we're going to start to activate these back muscles in a standing position. Good work. And then roll up. Roll through the shoulders. As you come to the top, baby back bend, and then from here, standing lovely and tall, I want you to start to activate through the glutes. Now, I talk about it a lot. Sorry, gang, I've got hair on my nose. It's really itchy. I talk about it a lot in our classes about having strong glutes, strong lower back. So we want to fire up these muscles. I'm flexing my foot and I'm pushing away. Now, obviously, if you feel that this is a weakness for you, you can do many, many, many more repetitions. Maybe do it with a band around your thighs or around your ankles. Change sides, squeeze the muscles in the bottom. So it might be that your glutes might be either inactive or there might be an imbalance where you've got one glute that's firing and one glute that's not, and that's the culprit of your back issues. You're the only one who's going to know that. You know how it feels. So if you go back to the first side, put your hand on your bottom, and I want you to see whether or not are those muscles tightening. Can you feel that? Can you feel those muscles engaging under your hands? You flex your foot. And then change that over to the other side. And does that feel the same? Or does that feel different? Good work. And then we're going to take that roll down. Inhale, exhale. Again, come to that halfway spot. And then go again into your activation here. Pushing forward. Brilliant. Okay, gang, bring yourself down to the floor. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to take our cat to cow. Probably one of the best mobility moves for our back. And I want you to really think about that spine. Think about each vertebrae coming a little bit further apart than the other. Head and neck dangles down. You really pull your belly button up to the ceiling and then push your belly button down to the floor. We need to move that spine in different directions though, not just flexion and extension. So as you come up, I want you to then wag your tail from right to left. So you move into a lateral plane. And then dip under, belly button to the floor, and again, wag your tail from right to left. Then move into a rotation. So big circles round. I'm going to do about 4 one way, and then I'm going to do 4 the other way. So we circle through and round. Perfect. Go back to your cat to cow. And really make sure that back feels free. We sink to return into our kind of shell pose, child's pose, whatever you want to call it. Reach the fingertips along the floor. This is going to stretch out the sides of the back. We can make this a little bit more intense by taking the hands over to one side, put that opposite hand on top, head down low. And what that's doing is it's really stretching out through the side of the waist. Change sides when you're ready. Good work. Okay, so let's start to think about our strength work that we can do for our back. One of the very best moves that you can do, and it's why it's in our classes a lot, is Superman. But we want to really think about activating. So many people do this move incorrectly, and they do it and they kind of just lift up without really activating. So what I want you to do is think about your spine being lovely and long, engage those muscles in the abdominals. As you exhale, lift that opposite arm to leg and really activate shoulder blade, activate glute, and then come down and change sides. So your thumb is leading up, and if we can activate shoulder blade and glute, then every area in between will activate as well. So you are not going to come up any higher than your hip height or shoulder height. You're going to stay in that position. And we also need to make sure there's no hypermobility in our elbows, so that we're working into our muscles, not our joints. When you take that lock off the elbow and you make the insides of your elbows face each other, you can start to activate through the upper back. So the abdominals are strong. It's why I always lead with my thumb, turning my palm in. It's why I always flex my foot. So this move for you might be brilliant. Some of you might find that being on your hands and knees uncomfortable, and you might need to lay this down in the floor. Extend the arms fully, and then lift opposite arm to leg. Everyone's different, and some people actually don't like laying prone, like laying on your front. They find it uncomfortable. So I want you to choose what's best for you. If you are doing this lay down move, it's exactly the same. Your thumb is up, palm is turned in. You are activating the back of your shoulder. You're activating the muscles in your bottom by flexing your foot and lifting. We've got a little chest lift here. Nice and strong. So whatever position you want to do this in, please feel free. And then when you're ready, you can push back and release. And it's important that after you've done any extension work, even if it's on all fours, that you counterbalance it with the opposite move. So I'm bringing you back to your cat. Into that release. Again, if you felt like you want to wag your tail, or again, feel like you wag your tail as your belly button comes to the floor. You can circle round on our axis, going round the other way when that feels good for you. Keep that going. Our music's gone a little bit too chilled there, so I'm just going to take that back. Okay, so next strength exercise. We're going to take a VW. This is really primarily strength work for your upper back. Again, I know that laying prone, laying on your front might not be comfortable. So if it's not comfortable for you, you're going to bring yourself to kneeling. You're going to come into your neutral spine. So into that point B. The arms are going to go up, thumbs go back, and we're going to retract our shoulder blades. Squeeze those shoulder blades back. Again, thumbs up, palms turn in, and we're squeezing here. If not, we're laying flat down, abdominals nice and strong, arms wide, head down, legs can go as wide as you wish. Squeeze the bottom, and retract those shoulder blades. Some of you might want to bring in the lower back here as well, with a back extension. Now, anytime you take a back extension, it's your lower back that's working. You need to keep those muscles in your bottom really strong. And the abdominals are not crashing in the floor. So again, do as many of these as you want. And when that feels good for you, you're going to push back and release. Let's Let's activate through those muscles in the bottom a little bit stronger. Let's come down. You can relax your head and shoulders. And we're going to lift our foot. Single leg. Flexing the foot again. Squeezing the muscles in the bottom. Option 1, move one foot. But your hip isn't coming off the floor. Option 2, move both feet. Squeeze those muscles into the bottom there. Really nice and strong. You're coming up till you feel that pull in your lower back. And for a lot of people, lifting the legs rather than lifting the chest is much more effective for them. They can feel it better. Otherwise, we're going to leave the feet down, hands go back into dart pose, and we're going to lift up into our back extension. Squeeze the muscles in the bottom. Now, if that doesn't feel good for you, stay with the leg lift. Squeeze. We can incorporate, though, the strength work through the side of the back. So from here, I'm going to come up, and I'm going to reach down to one side. Come back and then lower, lift up and reach down to the other side. Come back and lower. So I've got this variation in my back extension, which is making through the side of my back work a little bit stronger. Big squeeze there. Lift and reach. Good work. Again, you can push back whenever you need to. I'm giving you loads of exercises today. We're not doing too many repetitions of them, but you might find the ones that work for you, and you might want to do more of them. I'm going to circle out through my back. I'm going back to that rotation here to loosen off, and then go the other way. Good work. Okay, one more strength exercise. I'm going to bring your arms either bent out wide or fully extended. You choose. Have the legs as wide as you wish. Squeeze your bottom. And we're going to rotate and open. Turning to the side. Looking under the arm. Hip bones stay facing down. And again, we can do this with a fully extended arm. And you can bring that here instead. So if that works for you, take that through. Be aware of how that feels. You don't have to come up too high. Literally lifting your chest off the floor a tiny bit. And again, you can have a towel or a blanket underneath your pelvis if that works better for you. Good work. I'm bringing you back. And again, we're going to take it away. Bentley. Bentley's barking at everybody that's walking past the window. Good work. Okay, from here, let's turn ourselves over and round. And let's go back to some more release work. Now, you know I said my QL's quite tight. If you felt the same, this next stretch hopefully might help you. It might not, though. If it's quite deep, you might need to go and get a sports massage. So I'm going to place my right foot, cross it over my left thigh, push that knee away, open the arms out wide, and we're going to drop the knee down to the floor. I'm focusing on my left shoulder coming down. My right knee comes down, but it's also pushing away there as far as I can. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to change that over the other way. So I'm staying on that same side. I've still got my right leg across. My foot's come down now on the other side, and I'm still pushing that knee away. Shoulders down into the floor. And I'm going to work through those two positions just in my own time. To try and get that area to release. Now, if it's really tight, we might find, like I said, you need to go and get a massage. Or you might find one of the seated stretches that I'm going to do more beneficial. So do as many as you want to on one side. Change the legs over anytime you're ready. Good work. So release from here. This foot comes across. Push the knee open. Drop that knee down to the floor. Shoulders down. And then change over to the other side. So the knee comes down to the floor. You might find that you're feeling this in the hip as well. It's a great stretch for the hip. It might be the hips that actually are, the tightness again, the nemesis of your back issues. Feel free to stay with that. Maybe repeat again if you want to. Otherwise, if you didn't find it effective, just take the knees over from right to left. Be aware of how that feels for you as you roll. We can lift our feet off the floor. We can roll over from right to left. Pressing that through, being aware of how that feels. It's a lovely release for the back. We're then going to place our feet down on the floor and we're going to come into our good old shoulder bridge. Start with our coccyx and peel our back. And then release and just come down. So with shoulder bridge, I'm just starting this really baby. Feel free to move your feet as much as you want to. Be careful you're not rolling your feet, so you should be able to feel your big toes down in the ground the whole time. I'm starting with just a pelvic tilt. I'm working on that lower back for me. You might want to be the same, you might want to stay there. Otherwise, if your lower back feels really quite fine, you can build that up into your mid-back, come up a little bit higher, and then roll the back down vertebrae by vertebrae. So just working through that mid-back. Again, if that doesn't feel like that's hitting it for you, you might want to come all the way up into your full shoulder bridge. Squeeze the muscles in the bottom, activate, nice and strong, and then roll down. And we don't want to come into hyperextension. So we want to articulate and come up to that diagonal line. Relax the arms, relax the shoulders. Squeeze the muscles in the bottom, nice and powerful through the legs, roll down. Some of you might want to bring the arms involved, and this is going to give you a deeper stretch through your lats, your latissimus dorsi, the muscles that run either side of your back, like your wings. You take a breath, inhale, exhale, lift. You're going to reach those arms overhead, leave them there, and then articulate your back down vertebrae by vertebrae. Coccyx hits the floor, bring your arms down by your side whenever you're ready. So that might, for you, feel great. By leaving those arms overhead and moving your back with a shoulder extension, you've got to have good flexibility there in your shoulder girdle, but also in your spine. So it might be something to work to. See how it feels. Whenever you're ready, you're going to hug your knees to your chest. Take a little bit of a release here. Pull those knees in. And then circle round on your lower back. Massage your lower spine. Go around the other way when that feels good for you. Uncross the feet, cross them the other way, and do your rotations again. And slowly from here, you're going to bring yourself up to sitting. So I said earlier, it might be your hamstrings that are your culprits, and it might be affecting QL as well. If we come into seated tree, one leg extended, mine's my right leg, left leg out to the side. If I take a breath, inhale, exhale, fold over, I might feel a pull down the back of my leg. So I might want to stay there. Maybe you want to use a band or a strap around the foot and come down low. If you're still feeling your back, then take that left arm up, reach over to the side, push the hip bones down in the floor, look to the side, and that might open up that QL for you. Well done. Release and change sides. So foot coming into the inside of the leg. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Stretching out through the hamstrings. That might be your stretch. Or take the arm up over to the side to kick into the QL area. That might be your stretch. Good work. Release. Slowly come round. Stretch back again. Come up to all fours, and I just want you to lift an arm up and reach. Open out, and then change sides. Lift and open. Well done. Release. Come back. Calf stretch. Lift up. Lengthen out the back of the legs. And then slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Bend through the knees as much as you need to and roll up. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring the neck and head up last and roll your shoulders back. So gang, I want you to take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Now roll down as far as that feels good for you. Think about how your back feels now in comparison to the start of the session. Bend through the knees as much as you need. Relax the back. Inhale. Exhale, rise. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Neck and head comes up last. Roll those shoulders. Go back to your fingertips together. Pelvis facing forward. Going back to that spine twist. Keeping your pelvis facing forward as you turn. Notice how that feels. Does that feel any easier than it did before? Wrap the arms around the waist, bend the knees, loosen up. Well done. Inhale. Exhale, roll. As we go over this time, I want you to let go of any last little bit of tension from the neck and spine, only coming over as far as you wish. Bend the knees as much as you need. Feel free to sway. Add a little rotation around the side of the feet. Only ever do that with a bent knee. And then roll up slow, vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring the neck and head up last. Roll your shoulders. Standing a little taller. Let those shoulders release. See how they feel. Take a breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to grow taller. Let your shoulders come away from your ears and feel that length in your spine. Take your right arm above your head and your left. Right hand forward and your left. Right palm in and your left. Give yourselves and each other a superb round of applause. Thank you so much, gang, for joining me today. I hope that was interesting for you. We could have gone on for ever and ever, I think, this morning for that. But hopefully that's given you a bit of food for thought. And also there'll be exercises there that essentially you will feel are more beneficial for you, and then other ones that you'll find that actually these aren't good for me, and that's totally cool. Not everything has to be for everybody. You know, you can do as much or as little as you want to. Thanks, Joe. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Well done. So hopefully that's kind of freed everything up, but also then given you some real good exercises to do strength-wise, and then you can pick and choose the ones that work for you. And then also you got that nice release at the end as well, getting everything moving. Any questions? Let me know. All right. Thanks, Belinda. I'll be live, gang, at 9:30, and that's doing our cardio resist. And then tonight, Dance Fit, I've moved earlier because Jason and I are going to a comedy night tonight. So unfortunately, we didn't get those tickets before I did the timetable. So apologies for that. So we've got Dance Fit tonight via Zoom, and that's at 6:30 tonight. Joe said, I could not squat on Monday, but body gently returning. Yes, good. That's great. Good for you. Well done. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon.